We really want to try to put the youth in contact with meaningful opportunities and opportunities that they're interested in.
Jobs4Jobs is a youth-led initiative to try and boost youth employment in the community.
There's a lot of kids looking for work, and there's not a lot of opportunities for them. There needs to be something for kids to kind of be able to access. It's almost like there's so much help in getting help finding work that it's not overly helpful. So you can go online and you can Google search and you can come up with job listings across the city, and it's so much that it's really not helpful for them to be able to access it. So to have opportunities to understand how you go about finding the right job for you, not just any job, but a job you're going to excel and do well in, is extremely important.
When students come to the guidance office asking for advice or help in getting summer employment, usually the first response is to ask the student whether they've connected with the Summer Jobs for Youth or Focus on Youth, the job programs that are offered either by the YMCA or through the Hamilton Foundation. But it's really about students knowing who to ask, where to go to get help putting resumes and preparing for interviews and keeping in mind that it's usually very time sensitive in terms of the timelines for them getting jobs. So when in doubt, they need to ask somebody in the building how to help them connect with somebody who can actually offer them opportunity for summer employment.
We try to match the students to their individual needs and what they see potentially as a career-related field they'd like to get into. We're not always successful doing that, but we try our best, and we get the students to basically acquire some work skills, some life skills through co-op. And some students have done very, very well at it, end up with part-time employment, summer employment, even leads to full-time employment. And that's really rewarding, when somebody does a placement, they say, you know what, now that I worked at, say for example, this physiotherapy clinic first semester, had a great experience, I know clearly in my mind, I want to be a physiotherapist or a recreational therapist or athletic therapist. Here's the path they have to follow, and they got that drive and motivation now. And that's really rewarding when we see stuff like that.
This is an opportunity for us to work with our youth and our community, including our parents who have advised us of this need and asked for support, using volunteer hours as a way to build a resume. So for youth who have yet to land that paying job, not only do the volunteer hours enable them to fulfill their diploma requirements, they also have a chance to gain valuable work skills. And this is a very important area for our youth and of course youth in general. And they came up with the notion of Jobs4Jobs as a way to support and address what they have determined are issues and concerns to youth, most especially in preparation for the world of work or in being able to acquire jobs in our community.
We asked what the problem was with the youth. So the biggest thing that we found out that when I came here to the McQuestion neighborhood was the residents had come up with a neighborhood action plan. The McQuestion Community Planning team identified a variety of issues that they wanted to do to make their neighborhood the best place to live, work, and raise a family. One of those action items was to improve programs and services for youth. So a service provider table of all of the different recreational and youth service providers was formed, and we had residents as well around the table with us. As we quickly started to kind of come up with some ideas and things like that, we found out that we were guessing. And guessing is never the way you want to go when we're doing programming. So we decided we needed to go out and hear the youth's voice. And we went here to Sir Winston Churchill High School and we surveyed 676 youth and found out that the three most important things to them are recreational, job, and volunteer opportunities. They wanted those things to be in their neighborhood. After we surveyed the youth, one of the questions that we asked them as well is would they want to be a part of a youth council, and we had over 300 responses from the youth that they wanted to be a part of the youth council. So hence a youth council was started. The youth came up with the mission statement that they wanted to improve recreational, job, and volunteer opportunities But the more important thing is they wanted to utilize the unique talents that youth possess, which to me is the most special part about the project. It's the youth and their talents and the youth and their beliefs that are really starting to drive this thing forward.
We have an empowerment group in the neighborhood, and we found that kids in that age group is very enthusiastic and on fire for making a difference. And so they kind of inspired the idea of moving towards the youth with the Jobs4Jobs initiative. And within a few months, it was just like this fire exploded. And the kids began to make a difference, and they began to grow, and they began to have plans and goals.
Before I got involved with the McQuestion Youth Opportunities Creators, I didn't know about a lot of the opportunities in the community until I went to the planning team meetings and saw all the stuff that was going on. So I think community engagement is still a big issue, and that's a big issue for a lot of communities as well. It's a hard thing to do, especially trying to talk to the youth in a youth-friendly way. That was actually how Jobs4Jobs kind of came about, and our youth council came about because a bunch of adults sat around the table trying to think of how to engage youth, and then a youth council was born because they didn't know how to do it. There's a lot of opportunities out there, it's not reaching the people who need them a lot of the times. The mission is to create rec, volunteer, and job opportunities for youth in our community, and while we're creating those opportunities, we try and get youth to learn valuable skills while they're creating those opportunities for other youth. Jobs4Jobs is a youth-led initiative to try and boost youth employment in the community, and how we're going to do that is we've gone out and we've done surveys with youth, asking them a number of questions, and then we bring that data back to the community planning team, and then we go from there and see how we can help kids get jobs and meaningful volunteer and job opportunities. We're trying to learn why kids can't get jobs. We're just trying to figure out how to break down the barriers and give kids like a better chance at finding employment.
We know that the experts on how youth are thinking are the youth, but we just know that students and young people that live in this neighborhood that are experiencing the dilemmas and challenges and fears and successes of being a teenager and a young adult, they can really inform how we get input from their peers.
So the conversation couch is a really interesting tool for us to engage the community. Everybody talks about that we need to have more conversations in the community and meaningful conversations. So we wanted to have the opportunity to take something to put it right directly where people already go.
Conversation couch is where we sit with youth and talk about jobs and how they can get jobs and why they don't have jobs and all that.
So we use that as like a companion to the survey. So we kind of invite them in and say, hey, come sit on our couch, you can sign it. And then they do the survey and they're a bit more engaged as opposed to just handing them a piece of paper.
We're hoping to share our results with and ask for what their understanding might be or what our action steps might be with our school partners, with our employment agency partners. We have people that work with youth already in this neighborhood. We can validate our results that way. We have people that are already in positions that link our school-age students to post-secondary. You know, does this validate what their experience is? So it's really saying this is what we've learned from our neighborhood, and what we're hoping is that it can then inform us who are really here to serve the neighborhood, as well as hopefully perhaps have a call to action within our neighborhood of how might we address some of the challenges that we will discover from the results that students experience in terms of finding meaningful volunteer work, finding a job, where and how might we be able to actually help them pursue the skills that they need.
The other approach that we're really trying to take here is we really want to try to put the youth in contact with meaningful opportunities and opportunities that they're interested in. We found a youth who has a passion for speaking in front of people and sharing his stories. And so that now has led him into wanting to become a broadcaster. And so we're putting him in scenarios where he has the ability to practice those skills that he's going to need to be a broadcaster, reading our mission, vision, and values at all of our meetings, appearing on camera as much as possible, trying to use that great broadcaster voice that we say to him, giving him the opportunity to do that so he can feel confident in the words and what he's saying to the public. And that's really, really important for us. We want to try to increase the youth's capacity while they're accomplishing all these great things for their neighborhood so that they are prepared more to go out there and face the real world.
I've met so many awesome people, people from the city of Hamilton, people in our community, people at McMaster and Mohawk, and I've got so many connections and I've learned so many things. Like we've actually gotten formal training from Yachty about social media and how to promote ourselves. A lot of it was like really soft, basic skills like cooperation and problem solving, and a lot of it too was project management and accountability. And I'm actually responsible for the finances, so that was a really big learning component for my own personal expenses and for anything that I do in the future that's business related. One of the big issues for kids and a lack of employment is a lack of experience. To get a job, you need experience. To get experience, you need a job. When I was applying for my job, I was struggling to figure out what stuff I could put on my resume, and that was before I joined the youth council. After I joined the youth council, I can say that I held the chairman position in this council. We did project management, we did budgeting, all that kind of stuff that's really like the hard skills that adults say that's impressive. Before I joined this council, I was just volunteering at barbecues or like Halloween parties or stuff that you can't really learn a lot from. But going through to the community planning team and joining this council, I learned a lot more valuable skills that I could put towards my 40 hours of high school and also use beyond that.
I am really privileged. I feel it's a privilege to work with these students because I know they're juggling schoolwork. They're very honest, they're very committed, they're very kind. We have a student that's already a college student, so that great modeling happening for younger members. We have a student that over the course of this year has now been accepted to university, which is again really awesome modeling for our younger members. It's been an opportunity for STEM students to come in and out with their skills. So I call her our resident artist. We had a student that was really interested in creating the design for our t-shirts and for the couch. So we've been able to tap into, and one of my colleagues, Jessie Williamson, is really awesome at really trying to highlight, what asset can people bring.
Being marginalized and living in poverty, there becomes a stigma against us, against them. And so these kids grow up with these ideas. And what we're trying to do is have a sense of community within the larger organization in McQuestion. And we want to be able to spread the good, shift the ideas, shape the attitudes of the people that live here, and perhaps join Ally and make a big difference, not just for our community, but at large. And so the kids play a huge role in this. Because they are new at this life thing, and because they are so on fire, they are the ones who have the drive. There's so many of them, but it's just a matter of engagement. They're excited, they're ready, they want to make a change, and all they need is just someone to push them.
We sometimes, I think, we forget our own experience of what it was like to be a teenager, have all the stressors of school, relationships, families, all those kinds of things haven't changed. But it's a really important period at the same time where there's an opportunity to really inform the people that serve youth, to really remind ourselves that there are lots of challenges and that how we provide service and when and by whom makes a big difference to developing a relationship so that youth will find us useful.